Welcome back, my dear children of class 10. Today we are going to learn another life process, which is respiration. So as you know, respiration is the process to generate energy for our metabolic activities. We have learned that in digestion, food is digested and food is absorbed from the small intestine, and the food components, digested products will go into the cells for various activities. So we have learned that glucose is oxidized to release energy that takes place inside the cell. So oxygen energy released from glucose is by oxidation of oxidation process. So oxidation takes place with the help of oxygen. Now oxygen is absorbed by respiratory system and it is circulated to all cells of the body by our circulatory system or transport system. Okay, so let us define again, learn the definition. It's a process to generate energy for our metabolic activities. So generating energy is inside the cells by oxidation of the food. So respiration is the whole process of taking oxygen as well as oxidizing the food as well as removing the byproducts produced. So let us see what are the processes included or involved in respiration. First process is absorption of oxygen. So oxygen is present in the atmosphere, or in aquatic organisms it is present in water. So from water or from atmosphere, oxygen is absorbed, and this function is done by the respiratory system. Then oxygen is now in the respiratory system. It has to reach to each and every cell of the body. So this is done by transport system. So the second step is transport of oxygen by the transport system to all parts of the body, all cells of the body. Then inside the cell, the third step, that is oxidation of food. This is the actual process in which energy is released. So oxidation of the food inside the cell to release energy and carbon dioxide. Energy is released, that is utilized for metabolism, and carbon dioxide is a waste, it has to be removed. So from the cell of carbon dioxide is removed. So that has to be transported to the lungs or respiratory surface for the removal. It has to be removed from the body because it is harmful if it is accumulated in the body. So transport of carbon dioxide to the lungs and release of carbon dioxide from the body by the respiratory system. So these are the processes involved. We are going to learn in detail all these processes, how the food is how oxygen is absorbed, how it is transported, how the oxidation of food takes place inside the cell, and how the carbon dioxide is transported back to respiratory system, and the release of carbon dioxide from the body. So all these we are going to do in detail. So you have to note these points. Okay. Then before we go into details of the process, we will learn there are two kinds of respiration. The first one is aerobic and then anaerobic. Second one is anaerobic. In aerobic respiration, oxygen is utilized, and in anaerobic, oxygen is not required, but still food has to be broken down to release energy. So how is it taking place? We will learn. So here we have a schematic diagram in which the summary of respiration, that is aerobic as well as anaerobic. See, majority of organisms, all higher organisms are aerobic. They use oxygen. Without oxygen they cannot live. Oxygen is a life-giving gas, we have learnt. So all higher organisms are aerobic, and some lower organisms, then even in humans, our muscle cells in certain conditions undergo anaerobic respiration, and yeast undergoes yeast can, even in presence of oxygen, yeast can respire aerobically, and it can undergo anaerobic respiration if oxygen is absent. So this is a schematic diagram, actually what is happening. Before we go into this schematic diagram, let us see the difference between aerobic and anaerobic respiration. There are a few differences. First one, as we have learned, takes place in the presence of oxygen. Aerobic respiration takes place in the presence of oxygen, and anaerobic respiration takes place in the absence of oxygen. Oxygen is not required. Then where does it take place? Aerobic respiration, in fact oxidation of the food, aerobic respiration takes place in mitochondria, and cytoplasm is also included, but the main step is taking place inside the mitochondria. And anaerobic respiration fully takes place in the cytoplasm. Then what are the end products? So end products of aerobic respiration is carbon dioxide and water, and here alcohol, in yeast and some microbes it is alcohol, in lactic acid in our muscle cells. So this is incomplete respiration or incomplete oxidation products, alcohol or lactic acid, whereas in aerobic respiration it is complete oxidation. So complete oxidation produces carbon dioxide and water besides energy. Then more amount of energy is released in aerobic respiration, because carbohydrate is glucose is completely oxidized. So large amount of energy is released, whereas here incomplete oxidation, so less amount of energy is released. So here is the equation. Glucose is first oxidized into pyruvate or pyruvic acid. Okay, so this is intermediate product formed in the cytoplasm. And in anaerobic respiration also, in the cytoplasm, glucose is oxidized to pyruvate, and pyruvate is oxidized to ethanol plus carbon dioxide plus energy. Energy is released, though less amount of energy, but ethanol and carbon dioxide are produced, and all these processes take place inside the cytoplasm only. There is no involvement of mitochondria. Mitochondria is the organelle, okay, in the cell. And but in aerobic respiration, see, glucose is first broken down to pyruvic acid, and some amount of energy is released there. This process takes place in the cytoplasm, and then this pyruvate will enter into the mitochondria of the cell, and in the mitochondria, as you have learnt, oxidizing enzymes are there. So the pyruvic acid is now completely oxidized to carbon dioxide and water, and that is why large amount of energy is released. So these are the differences between aerobic and anaerobic respiration. Now we come to the processes. See, glucose is oxidized into pyruvic acid or pyruvate. This is common step for aerobic as well as anaerobic respiration. Okay, so it is taking place inside the cytoplasm. See, remember one more thing, any metabolic process doesn't take place in one step or two steps. This includes a series of reactions. So first series of reaction, only end product is given here, but in between there is a series of at least 10 reactions are there. So finally the final product is pyruvate. So glucose to pyruvic acid, and this process is called glycolysis. Understand the meaning of lysis means breaking down, and glyco means glucose. So glucose is broken down to pyruvate. This process is called glycolysis. Glycolysis. So glycolysis is common in aerobic as well as anaerobic, and second thing, it takes place only in the cytoplasm. Now let us see in the absence of oxygen in yeast. Yeast, what are the products? Ethanol and carbon dioxide plus energy. Okay, ethanol is a 2-carbon molecule. and glucose is a 6 carbon. So the 6 carbon molecule is broken down to 3 carbon molecule pyruvate plus some amount of energy, and then in the absence of oxygen in yeast, ethanol and carbon dioxide. Ethanol is a 2 carbon molecule plus energy is released. So this is, remember, incomplete oxidation products. Then comes to our muscle cells. See, in certain special condition when we need quick energy, because aerobic respiration takes some time, so we need a quick amount of energy. For example, hard physical labor, or you climb mountain, or you are racing, participating in racing. You all must have experienced this. Racing, then what happens? We need quick energy. So what happens? The glucose is anaerobically broken. That is the pyruvic acid. It doesn't undergo in it doesn't go into mitochondria immediately. It will be directly oxidized to lactic acid plus energy. Lactic acid is also lactic acid is also a 3 carbon molecule. So this is formed and some amount of energy. So this is for the immediate requirement, this energy is there. But remember, after, when you take rest after the race or that hard physical labor, then what happens? Lactic acid is completely oxidized to carbon dioxide and water. So this is in our muscle cell. What is the product? Lactic acid plus energy. No carbon dioxide here, and here ethanol plus carbon dioxide plus energy. Okay. And now comes to the aerobic respiration step. So in an aerobic respiration, what happens? After glycolysis, the pyruvate enter into mitochondrion. Okay, and mitochondria have oxidizing enzymes. So oxygen oxidize the pyruvic acid and form carbon dioxide plus water plus energy. So this is complete oxidation product. So large amount of energy is released. So I hope you understood. So this is the summary. But when anaerobic respiration is in yeast is asked, you have to just write this only. Anaerobic respiration in muscle cells, you have to write only this reaction. And in an aerobic respiration, aerobic respiration, then you have to write this full step. Okay, but summary of respiration is asked, you have to write the whole thing. This is in your NCERT book also. So this diagram or this schematic diagram you have to draw, and then write down the differences between aerobic and anaerobic respiration. So this is again takes place in the presence of oxygen, takes place in the absence of oxygen. End products are carbon dioxide and water. End product is alcohol, ethyl alcohol. This is C2H5OH. In chemistry you must have learned the chemical formula. So you can write here alcohol, okay, ethyl alcohol. Then energy released in large amount, energy released in lesser amount. It takes place in both cytoplasm and mitochondria. Remember, this is an important difference. Both cytoplasm, see, glycolysis takes place in the cytoplasm and internal respiration takes place in the mitochondria. Okay, and takes place in the cytoplasm only, anaerobic respiration. Then that schematic diagram we have just seen. You can see a little bigger here, glucose to pyruvic acid. Here under the arrow you can write, or below the arrow you can write glycolysis. This step is called a glycolysis. Then lack of oxygen in our muscles, lactic acid plus energy, and in yeast ethanol plus carbon dioxide plus energy in the absence of, that is anaerobic respiration. See, anaerobic respiration in yeast is also called fermentation. When you make the notes you can write fermentation, and this is a very important process. Commercially human beings exploit this for the production of alcoholic drinks. So yeast plus some bacteria are also used in this. So ethanol plus carbon dioxide. So this is also called a fermentation, and fermentation is the process commercially used by human beings for the production of alcohol, commercial production. Okay. Then in our muscle cell, lactic acid and energy. Okay, and then in mitochondria, complete aerobic respiration. After glycolysis, the pyruvate has to be transported to mitochondrion, and in mitochondrion in mitochondria. Mitochondria is the plural word. Okay. So in mitochondria, carbon dioxide, water plus large amount of energy. And you also, I think somewhere in class 9 you have learned ATP molecule. Okay. So Energy is stored in the mitochondria in the form of ATP, adenosine triphosphate, because all that energy release we don't utilize at the same time, we don't require. Stepwise energy, whenever energy is required, the required amount of energy is released by breaking down adenosine triphosphate. The last phosphate group is released, so it is a high energy bond, so the needed amount of energy is released, and that is why last year we have learned in class 9, mitochondria are known as the powerhouses of the cell. Okay, mitochondrion is the powerhouse of the cell because it produces energy, store energy and release energy, so powerhouse. Okay, remember that. Then comes to external and internal respiration. External respiration takes place in the between atmosphere and the respiratory system. So it is also called a physical process. The external respiration is a physical process. This only includes absorption of oxygen and elimination of carbon dioxide. So it is a physical process. Oxygen from the atmosphere diffuse into the respiratory system. In case of higher organisms, lungs, okay, it goes into the lungs. We learn the structure of respiratory system. So, and this is a physical process, and this external respiration is also called breathing. You are familiar with this term. Breathing means taking in oxygen and give out carbon dioxide. So this involves only the respiratory system or respiratory surface we say. And comes the internal respiration. Second step is internal respiration, which involves oxidation of the food. So this is the actual process where the energy is released. So this involves oxidation of food inside the cell and release of energy, carbon dioxide and water. This is a chemical process. See, glucose is the 6-carbon molecule is changing into a simple compound like carbon dioxide and water. So this is a chemical process. Here there is no chemical change, it's only physical change, okay, physical process. But this is a chemical process. Internal respiration is a chemical process. See, internal means inside. Where does it take place? Inside the cell. External means outside. With respect to cell, outside the cell, that external respiration taking place. So, organisms have different respiratory surfaces for doing external respiration and or doing respiration. So, before we go into the process, we will learn the respiratory surfaces of different organisms. Okay. See, first comes to the unicellular organism like amoeba, paramecium, chlamydomonas. There are many unicellular organisms we have studied. So, here they are unicellular, their body means only one cell. So, all the processes has to take place inside the cell. So, cell membrane. Normally amoeba, paramecium, they are aquatic. So, oxygen dissolved in water they get. Okay. So, that oxygen enters through the cell membrane. Okay. Cell membrane. So, cell membrane is the breathing surface or respiratory surface in unicellular organism. Then little more higher organisms like fishes, tadpole, etc. Gills are the respiratory system or respiratory surface. I'll show you the image. Then earthworm skin is the respiratory surface, and frog also. Frog has lungs also and the skin also. And respiration through skin is called cutaneous respiration. Please write down this term, okay? Cutaneous respiration. Cutaneous respiration means respiration through skin. And insects respire through air tubes. Air tubes, or it's also called a trachea. Tracheae plural, okay? Air tubes or tracheae are the respiratory surfaces of insects. And lungs in all higher animals, like all mammals, lungs are respiratory surfaces of human beings and all other mammals. Okay. So these are some of the respiratory surfaces. I'll show you some images also for this. See, trachea in insects. For example, this is cockroach. There is a tracheal trunk, and this trachea opens to outside through the opening that is called a spiracle. Spiracles are the opening. So these openings are present in both the sides of the body. So spiracle is the opening. Tracheae or trachea or air tubes are the respiratory surfaces of insects. Then comes to skin breather, earthworm. You have seen earthworm. So this is earthworm, a tubular body it has, and its skin is always kept moist. That's why it cannot come out. So oxygen from the atmosphere dissolves into this skin moisture, and in each and every cell the oxygen enters. So you can see earthworm has a tubular body having developed organs and organ systems, and this doesn't have any specialized complex respiratory organ. So it respires through its moist skin. So it is very important that it has to keep its skin always moist. And how is it kept moist? By the secretion of mucus. Mucus is a secretion from the epidermis, okay, and body fluids from excretory pores. This is why, I don't know, you may have seen when earthworm comes out of the sunlight, it will try to move into the burrow. It is a burrowing animal, so it will move into the burrows because if it lies in sunlight, what happens? The moisture will dry, so it cannot respire and it will die. So it is a burrowing organ. It lives in the burrow just under the soil and always lives in moist soil, especially during the day. And this prevents their skin from drying or desiccation means drying. So this is then the blood capillaries under the skin absorbs the oxygen and each body cell gets it. So earthworm is a skin breather. Okay. Now comes to gill breather. Okay. Gill. Gill. Fishes, tadpole, larvae of frogs, etc. They are aquatic, so dissolve oxygen. So only gills can absorb dissolve oxygen. This is a carp. It is a fish with the operculum. Gill has a cover called a operculum. Operculum is the covering. Here the operculum is removed to show the gills. So these are the gills, and gill has a gill arch from where gill filaments arise, and then gill rakers prevent the food part because it absorbs food also from water. So the food from moving out. Okay, so gill rakers. So you have to learn the respiratory system of the fish, that is gill. So here is another clear diagram, gill filaments, and this is the gill arch from where the gill filaments arise, and on the other side there is gill rakers. Okay, and this gill rakers prevent the food from moving into the gills. Okay, then comes the human respiratory system. I think I'll explain human respiratory system in the next video. So it's enough for today. Thank you very much. Please watch this video, like, subscribe and share. Thank you very much. See you in the next video.